If you've ever wondered how some people seem to live such charmed lives, then you might want to stay tuned. Have you ever known someone who seems to live a charmed life? I mean, they always seem to be at the right place at the right time. Everything they touch seems to turn to gold. Well, if you read 2 Samuel chapter 5, it's easy to see how people probably thought David lived a charmed life because everything he did seemed to turn out so well. How did that happen? What was the secrets of his success? I think there are three. One, David asked for directions. David could have gone on his own skill. I mean, he was well seasoned. He knew how to get things done. He could have just stepped out on his own initiative and done things, but he didn't. He stopped and asked God for directions and even asked God for permission. Second, David followed instructions. I mean, when David got directions from God, then he followed them. David was not like some people who, one, they don't stop and ask for directions, but two, when they get directions, they don't follow them. They ignore the GPS. David was not that guy. He asked for directions from God, one, and two, he followed God's instruction. But then three, he gave credit where credit was due. David was very charismatic. He could have taken credit for his accomplishments all by himself, but he didn't. Instead, he knew his accomplishments came from God and that God did them not just to bless him, but to bless his people. So he gave God the credit where the credit was due. Those three things. Now, here's a word of warning. Don't think that just because you ask God for direction and you follow God's instruction and you give God the credit where credit is due, don't just think that that will automatically bless you with a charmed life. I mean, it didn't for David. He spent years on the run from homicidal King Saul. And it didn't for Jesus, who lived a perfect life and gave God the glory, and they still crucified him. Those three things are not a magical formula for a charmed life, but if you follow them, they will strengthen you, and they will give you wisdom, and they will make you fruitful. So this week, try living this week with those three keys in mind: asking God for direction, following God's instruction, and giving God credit where credit is due. I guarantee you it will change your week. I'll see you next week.